Okay, we should get started here. Hold on, I'm just going to pause it for a second. Make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Wait out just a sec. Okay, so yeah, I'm really sorry. Got late start here. So it's 6:10 or so. Um, Obviously, a little later than what I wanted, and I apologize for that. So let's go ahead and get started here, and make sure that I'm sharing with you what I want to share. Yeah. So we've got our screen LDR 490. This is um, last day of March, and we're about ready to get into a whole new month here of co-virus and the like. And so we'll see COVID 19, and we'll see what the future holds and what the Lord has in store for us. Appreciate everybody's patience and understanding and getting in there, your diligence and getting your work done, and the quality of your work has been wonderful. So thank you for that. Um, I've gotten everybody fairly caught up on your grading. I don't think I've missed anybody yet. There's a couple of you that have turned in work, but it's not complete. So I won't grade it until we get you complete. You and I have talked about it. If you and I haven't talked about an item that you've submitted for grading, um, then you need to let me know. As always, if you see a zero or a blank on on an assignment that you've turned in and no grade to it, then that means either I didn't get it or I've overlooked it. And so let's get that fixed straight away and not wait until the last minute. Speaking of the last minute, things are going to come up pretty hot and furious. So this is leading me into talking to you about your final paper and how we've got it set up for this course. So each chapter that's due is pretty lengthy, okay. And so in the end, you've got a paper coming due that is really not capable of being written overnight. You might be able to turn something in that had been written overnight, but it's not going to be the quality work that you want. Okay. Again, this final paper is 15 to 25 pages. As you've heard me talk before, those of you that have me before, I'm not going to grade your paper based on number of pages. I don't grade based on number of words. If you can make your points and get in all the answers to the questions I pose in a paper, and it's only 5 pages in length, go for it. I hope you can. I don't think you can. Conversely, if it takes you 100 pages to get your points made, you're not just filling your paper with argle bargle, um, which is excessive words. If you're dancing around the point a lot in that paper, then it's going to grade out as such. So my point to you on this, I think, is don't be so concerned about how many pages it is, as much as it is getting your point across using brevity, but to a detail level enough that shows me that you've spent your time on this. Okay, and that's really what this is about, is spending time. So what you're doing here is every week um, you are going to write a chapter out of this paper. So think of any textbook that you've had. That textbook had an introduction section, had various chapters covering material, and then it had a concluding section, right? So think of each chapter that you're writing each week, a chapter like out of a textbook. Okay, when come the end of the course, you're going to add that introduction paragraph and that concluding paragraph to your chapters, 5 in total, right? Each chapter should cover something that you feel critical in the essence of leadership. So just like your Leadership 300 text, DAF text had various chapters on motivation, on ethics, on communication, on teamwork, on change leadership, any of that. So will you do that in here, okay? Your thesis statement, your position statement, should read something to the effect of your take on an effective leader is one who addresses, and then your 5 chapters, okay? In other words, you're pulling out 5 critical points, major items of interest to you. And again, I can help you on that if you need it. I don't think so. I think most of you got a good feel for it. I'll go through more through your papers here. And what will happen is I'll take a look at them and I'm going to give you some feedback, okay, a little bit. And essentially what I'm going to give you is not a grade on these. I will obviously grade your final paper, okay? And University of Mount Olive policy is not to multiple grade a paper. In other words, you don't turn something in, get a grade, take it back, fix what was wrong, turn it back in for a grade, and then I change the grade. It doesn't work that way. But this is a unique opportunity here, and so that there are no surprises at the end. Gives you a chance to kind of work on your paper. So what will happen is this, sometime tomorrow, you'll get a comment back from me on your chapter 1 that hopefully you all turned in on this past Sunday night. In that chapter 1, verbiage will read, if I was to grade this paper now, this would probably be about a B. Okay? And then I'll probably give you a little extra detail on that, whether it was a good topic, whether you supported it well, made sure that you had an example out of both Salvation Army and Marriott. Because again, we have to tie each chapter here of your paper to readings out of your book, hopefully that particular week. But it doesn't have to be as much as I want you to at least get the information in, okay? So there are times when that particular week, there might have been something of interest to you innovation-wise, but that was in an earlier chapter. I want you to feel free to use that, okay? So don't limit yourself by what's been available that week. Make sure that you at least bring something in from your readings, okay? Is really the point I'm making, all right? All right, so what'll happen then is that your paper for each chapter, just as any chapter in a textbook has a introduction, a middle section with all the evidence, and then a summary at the end, your chapters will have the same thing. It'll have an introduction paragraph, the evidence you're using, and then your summary or your conclusion. Okay, and then at the end of week 8, you're going to take your 5 chapters, put them in the paper, and put an introduction and a conclusion on it, and turn that in. And that's what will get graded. Okay. I know this doesn't sound normal, but believe me, it's worked, and it's good from the standpoint that if you try it out, take a shot at it, and if you are attentive to it, meaning you've worked on it every week for 5 weeks, you'll be surprised and pleased with the product that you turn out. Again, a lot of it gets down to what your thesis statement is. And I've told you that I think the most effective thesis statement here would be those points or concepts that you feel are critical in making an effective leader. Okay, now how you write that in a sense is purely up to you. You might say the course readings of Watson and our friend Bill Marriott demonstrate that these are effective leaders. because both have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, concepts in their leadership. And then you lay out those 5. Okay, that's all it is. Now you stick that position statement in your introduction paragraph of your final paper, and you will nail that portion of the assignment. It's striking how many of you, of your fellow students, predominantly, will not write a thesis statement. Okay, and I'm not sure how you approach writing your paper. I couldn't do it that way. I need to be able to narrow mine down. Otherwise, it just becomes an all-encompassing task. But if you drill it down into answering the question, bold statement, yes or no, this is what makes an effective leader. This is what makes an ineffective leader. And then the conclusion is supported by the evidence, okay, that you picked. Communication, team building, ethics, vision, and change leadership. And then wrap it all up with a solid conclusion, remembering that that concluding paragraph is your last contact with your reader. It's the last place you have to nail your argument and make your impression on whoever this is that's reading your paper. A word to that, okay? Who is the audience that you're writing to? Well, obviously, I'm going to read your paper, so trigger your audience as somebody who knows something about leadership, but you're trying to educate them a bit, give them the benefit of your knowledge. And so that's the way I want you to treat me, okay? I've read, the 2 books. I'm familiar with both gentlemen, Watson and Marriott. I've taught this course a number of times since it was developed. With that, I learn something new every time. And that's why I enjoy seeing what you all come up with. And believe me, I get more out of you than you get out of me. So keep at it, okay? All right. The final aspect of this is that the evidence you use doesn't have to be that hard, okay? But pull something out. Give a real life example out of the textbook. Don't just tell me that both Watson and Marriott or whoever we're talking about at that particular aspect of the book are innovative. Okay, I got that. They are innovative. I'd agree they're innovative, but give me an example of where they are innovative. Show me one, okay? So this is that depth that I'm talking about. When we write a paper out, we assume people understand what we're talking about, and that's fine. But for this course, remember, I have to grade you based on what I believe you to know, okay? How you have demonstrated your mastery of the objectives, okay? And if you get into sufficient detail and have pulled out an example and have applied the theory, the model, the concept from another class correctly, then I know you've got it, okay? If, however, I'm reading something that feels rushed when you wrote it, and believe me, instructors get a good feel for how much time a student has spent on their paper. If it turns out that this is something that I just knocked out the night it was due, about 30 minutes before it was due, and we just kind of banged it out, it comes across. And especially when it says that the evidence is, well, they were innovative and they took risks. Well, yeah, no kidding. I mean, everybody's innovative and takes risk. Everybody does that every day. When you don't give even an example, then that leads you open for additional questions. So let's just do this the right way. Let's figure out what you think makes an effective leader. I'm letting you pick the chapters. So you pick the chapter titles of whatever the concept is: motivation, communication, teamwork, change leadership, you name it. If you're really stuck, let me know, and I'll come in and maybe point you in the right direction, I hope. And then work that chapter out for that particular week. and then work on it. Don't just bang one out and then don't look at it for an entire month. Go back and tweak it and work on it, and then go from there. Okay. Hold on here just a second. I've got a Cocker Spaniel here underneath my feet. Hold on just a second.